Hey, what is up, humans? It's your favorite demon, Raze Silva. So I have noticed for the last couple of videos, um, as of well, by the time this video is going up, anyway, it will be like a couple of videos. So either I don't know, my model is apparently stuck in resting bitch face, and I cannot fix it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because my camera has been moved, um, which it has been a few times, and I can't seem to get it back the way it was. So, you know, also it decided, also for my Honkai video, it decided to just break entirely, and half the time my model was just like freaking out. So, I don't know. Anyway, that I'm okay. I swear. So we have a new reaction. So haven't done anything RWBY in a while. So I figured it was about time get one of those out. So this is Judgmental Critter, who I actually haven't been watching all that long. I found I think I've only maybe been watching Critter maybe a year. Maybe. I don't even know. I think it's been a full year. Found her kind of late, but this is I don't know. I saw this video and it was just like it's like I bet this is probably gonna be a fun thing to react to. I don't know. I don't know what this is really gonna be if I'm being completely honest. So we're gonna find out if this even makes the cut. I don't even know what this is. I'm just gonna record it. Anyway, if it does go up though, I don't know. I am I am out of it today. Holy shit. Anyway, and I'm rambling. Okay, it's fine. Um Original video will be in the description as always. So let's get into this.
RWBY's final official product from Rooster Teeth before the company shuts down. Now, I doubt this is the end of RWBY, I'm sure someone will pick it up, but for now at least, the future of what RWBY will
Alrighty. Okay, so this is that weird thing that RT put out like right before they finally like went completely under that I don't know what it's supposed to be, and I don't think anyone else is knows what the hell it's supposed to be, which is kind of normal for Rooster Teeth, if we're being completely honest. So, and as far as like, honestly, if RWBY is just dead, it's done. Nothing else that gets added to it. Like, oh well, at this point, that's kind of my opinion and thoughts on it and feelings. Um, if someone does pick it up, I I would rather them just restart it. I because I don't think it's salvageable from all the bullshit that RT did to it. Like, okay, so I'm gonna ramble a lot here in the start. I know we're only 14 seconds in, but bear with me here. I'm having a day, apparently. So the show RWBY makes me angry because it has to me it has a lot of potential, but it never had the talent to actually execute that. And all of its problems festered and were never fixed to the point where the show itself is just not salvageable in my opinion. And rather than it just be finished as it is, I would rather see it be just restarted, rebooted. Have someone who actually knows what they're doing do the show. I would rather watch it from the very beginning all over again than see it finished as it is.
LB is a bit of a mystery, so all we have left is this weird hot mess. RWBY Beyond is a show that came and went, and a lot of people never even really understood what it was. See, Rooster Teeth was absolutely horrible at advertising their upcoming shows, something I suspect was a part of the reason their numbers were doing so poorly. So what even is RWBY Beyond? Well, it was advertised as, quote, a storybook animation-styled anthology series will tell untold stories happening in Remnant during Volume 9 and beyond. So I, along with most people, assumed this was going to cover the goings-ons of the characters in Remnant during the time Team RWBY were stuck in the Ever After. That's what it says, right? During Volume 9. Like, Raven, what's she been up to? Apparently she's attached to the Hero Squad again. How did that happen? Team Honor in the Sandstorm. What happened after finding Vacuo? How did meeting Theodore go? Salem, what's her plans with the lamp and the staff? What's her next move? Well, unfortunately, we don't get any of those answers. All RWBY Beyond really gives us is just more questions and cliffhangers, leaving all of those interesting things off screen. Like everything in RWBY, the important and interesting stuff is always off.
It's always fucking... That's the thing. That's another thing. I fucking... Instead of... They don't... All of the really good stuff, like the really, like, meat of everything is always in the supplemental material for the damn show. And it's like, why? Just put it in the actual show.
Off-screen. RWBY Beyond also only has 4 episodes, each one ranging between 3 to 6 minutes in length. The episodes can be split into 2 categories. The ones Carrie wrote, which are boring and ends with obnoxious teases and cliffhangers, and the ones Eddie wrote, which are honestly really sweet conversations, but unfortunately should have been in the show proper, and not trapped in the supplemental material. Because that's the important thing. This is supplemental material. Nothing we've actually gotten from RWBY is truly canon. We've been living in canon adjacent ever since the Justice League movies came out. And I think the thing that hurts the idea of RWBY Beyond the most is the fact that it came out right after the Volume 9 epilogue. I've covered the epilogue in a recent vid, and there's gonna be a link to that in the iCard and in the description, but overall, it's really heavy. It tackles very serious topics like depression, there's a refugee crisis, the tone is overall much more serious. So it's really weird when RWBY Beyond starts up and all 4 episodes are really lighthearted and goofy and silly, and look at that good times we're having.
The Junior Detective!
Ugh. And again, that's something else that the show has been having an issue with for almost the entirety of its existence. And I fucking hate the Junior Detectives. I didn't even like this stupid skit when it was in RWBY Chibi.
The last thing we need is a kingdom of orphans.
It's not our fault we're here.
Being back with my team helps, even though things aren't the same.
Too many people to take care of. Too many emotions.
Seriously, Yang? You brought me to Baba!
She came to Vale, and now there's nothing left.
By the way, you promised we would go shopping like weeks ago. When's that happening?
Rumor has it that RWBY will still be working on Volume 10. Carrie's
Please no. Please just let it die or let someone else take it. Please. Please, I am begging.
been promising he's been talking with partners for like months now. They insist it's still going to happen and insist they'll still be in charge of it. If that's the case, then RWBY needs to sit down and pull their heads out of the sand. Figure out what you're doing here, because these two things can't both exist. Vacuo can't be the overcrowded, depressed, turmoil and hardships, constant grim attacks location we've seen in the epilogue, and also simultaneously be a nice little city where there's plenty of room and the kids can play tag while they Naruto run and go on shopping trips and everything is so fun and cool. Whee! RWBY has suffered from abysmal tone shifts for a long time now, but it's never been quite this atrocious before. I actually wonder if this is a sort of experiment RWBY is putting out there, seeing which one audiences like more, the serious drama direction for the show or going back to the funny lighthearted direction. Personally, if I had to choose, I'd much rather take the fun lighthearted direction we see here with RWBY Beyond, mostly because I don't think RWBY has the skills to actually write an engaging dramatic refugee
They don't. They don't. I mean, and shit, the worst storyline to date that they've still like done atrocious with was the whole Fauna storyline with the racism allegory. It's just so fucking bad. I know I'm really shitting on RWBY, but honestly, like, I want to emphasize this one last time. I liked RWBY. I did. But I cannot defend all of the bullshit. Like, I can't do it.
crisis story. So let's talk about RWBY Beyond's episodes in more detail.
Zooming through the sky, little Einstein.
The junior detectives are stupid and dumb, and I actually hate them. If you don't know what this is, congratulations. You've never had to sit through RWBY Chibi. Inspired by that one moment in Volume 2 when Sun and Neptune did absolutely nothing helpful during the Grim attack,
Nobody move! Junior detectives! We have badges, so you know it's official.
RWBY Chibi was so inspired by this moment of stupidity that they made the junior detectives a reoccurring bit in RWBY Chibi. And I'll admit, I hate them mostly because I think their shenanigans are painfully annoying and repetitive, and I also just hate Neptune with a burning passion. Oh my god, he is the worst character in the whole show. I hate
No, I will still hold that Blake is the worst character in the show.
him. But I can also admit that this does work for the tone RWBY Chibi is going for. Chibi
It works in RWBY Chibi. It does. Anywhere else, no.
is much more childish, cute, no stakes, lighthearted slapstick and gags. It technically works. I understand why people like the junior detectives in RWBY Chibi, but it does not work in any other setting. The rest of the episodes of Beyond are all generally lighthearted too, but the junior detectives one really takes it into the deep end and feels genuinely out of place. Like a show actually being made for little children. Two dudes wearing obvious fake mustaches and getting into slapstick shenanigans doesn't really work in a more realistic setting. And RWBY Beyond does go into more dramatic places. In fact, each of the other 3 episodes feature some pretty sincere moments of introspection and growth. So it's a shame that the first episode sets the tone so stupidly goofy. It makes me think I shouldn't take any of the other episodes seriously either. This is also the only episode that actually takes place during Volume 9. Yeah, that selling point of RWBY Beyond covering the stories of characters
I did also. I remember seeing that this. I remember seeing that too, and I'm just like. But I'm also not surprised. That's literally been the case since. God, since forever. I think since Volume 5 is that this has been like an issue. Like they'll say like this is what's what's going to be happening and like, you know, how much more serious everything is going to be, and then it's not. And it's not, and it's because they don't know how to actually write it.
While the heroes were trapped in Wonderland, actually, it's only this one silly little baby detective morons episode that does that. The other three all take place sometime nebulously after the events of Volume 9. And the actual content of the episode is kind of painfully tone-deaf, too. Sun and Neptune are recounting them trying to figure out what happened to Team RWBY and Jean, and they always tack Jean's name on at the end like he's an afterthought.
I guess the location of Team RWBY and John is still a mystery.
But here's the thing. In RWBY Chibi, the very thing this dumb gimmick comes from, Jean hangs out with Sun and Neptune a bunch. He and Ren spends lots of time with the junior detectives. So it's weird that now they're acting like he's some forgotten extra. Is this like RWBY Chibi or not? I imagine this is the writers trying to tongue in.
Also, I don't know if I've said this in a video or not. Jean should have died in Volume 5. They should have killed Jean. They should have had Cinder kill Jean in Volume 5. Because at that point, his character was completely useless. Jean had literally run his course. But no, they kept him around, and he has just done absolutely nothing.
Cheek be like, see, we think Jean is lame too. Because the biggest thing with RWBY Beyond is how every single episode was very obviously written in reaction to criticism from Volume 9. Which is why I will never, ever believe the idea that it's all been planned from the beginning. So anyways, Sun and Neptune go.
No. I'm willing to bet that 60 to 70% of everything that is in RWBY from volumes 4 on is all reactionary.
Go around and apparently are accusing the people who are closest to Team RWBY and Jean of being the reason they're missing, which, like, rude. Hey, Crow, is it your fault that your beloved nieces might be dead? The episode also establishes this reoccurring thing where the adults are having, like, secret meetings, which wasn't the whole keeping secrets, lives, and half-truths thing the whole problem everyone had with Ozpin? We're just doing this again? Really?
Be the summer maiden?
We already told you, there's no way! Besides, there's no more room on our suspects board. No more new characters.
Ew,
I literally just hit the Picard. I
Told you, there's no way! Besides, there's no more room on our suspects board. No more new characters.
I literally just I did that. I did this exact motion just now. Dear fucking... I'm so glad I didn't watch... Fuck, that's so...
Ooh, a cliffhanger teaser. Wanna see the summer maiden? Too bad. Ha ha ha. We almost showed you something worth a damn, but no. Ha ha ha. Give me money for volume 10. You can't fund a show based only off of teases. Eventually, people are going to be tired of constantly being baited. You've been dangling...
Bro, I wish that statement was actually true. I really do. However, Bumblebee exists. I know I just pissed a lot of people off by saying that. But, if people were tired of being baited, you know, this, like, fucking crick. God, how long was Bumblebee, like, dangled in front of every, like in front of people. I would say it probably started in volume 2 and then just went from there. Like for for what, almost a decade. Fucking cuz literally from volume 5 on, I swear to God, this is literally how it felt watching it. Was, you know, people would be pissed because the quality of the show was just tanking. Everybody was just like, the fuck are y'all doing? And then I shit you not, it felt like every time that happened, here would come Barbara and Aaron, and they would just be like, but Bumblebee! And like, it was like everyone's brains would just shut off, and they would forget everything. And be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You know, they're gonna give us Bumblebee this season, and everything will be fixed, and then it would be the same bullshit. One, you wouldn't get Bumblebee, the season would suck, people would get pissed, and then here we come Barbara and Aaron again, but Bumblebee, it's just so fucking, and I like the concept of Bumblebee. I feel like it could work. Just like Blake and Sun could also work. Like, that's the thing. Like, both of those ships work. Like, I really did.
Carrots on sticks for 10 years, they're starting to get kind of stale.
Time marches on.
The first episode was hands down the worst, but it's surprising that the second episode that focuses on Jean actually ends up being the best. It shows us Jean, who's struggling with figuring out himself now that he's aged several decades without his team and has been sucked back into the body of a young adult. So he talks to the one person who can understand the phenomenon of being both far too old and simultaneously far too young. Oscar. Oscar suggests Jean focuses on some of the positives with his time in the Ever After, and it is a genuinely cute scene. We really establish the friendship between him, Alex, and Lewis. We get some cute world building with them, and we even nostalgia bait you by showing Jean's Volume 1 team.
Laughter.
This episode is really sweet, and I actually really love the dialogue Jean has with Oscar, but I really wish this wasn't supplemental material. Interactions like this always feel trapped inside of the side stories of the show.
It's because it is. And it's been one of the biggest arguments for the show, like, from the get-go. Like, stop putting, like, fucking hell, literally from the start, because it was like season 1 and 2, and then there was the World of Remnant thing, where instead of explaining stuff in the actual show, they had this side thing that you had to watch if you wanted to understand the mechanics of the world. Like, it's the same problem, and it's never been fixed. They've never even attempted to fix it.
This information could have been in the show proper. Jean could have told Team RWBY about these things during Volume 9, and getting to see Jean and Oscar actually talking to each other one-on-one, that never gets to happen. Moments this good should be in the show proper.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Hey, a bunch of people pointed out how Team RWBY just rampaged their way through the Ever After, causing a bunch of mayhem. Oh well, let's just make a whole episode of RWBY Beyond to be like, no. Actually, everyone's doing so much better now. Team RWBY made everything better. Remember how there was like 5 monsters attacking the shopping district filled with defenseless civilians? And Team RWBY and Jean, who are all trained fighters who literally went to school to learn how to fight monsters, who have all individually fought hundreds more monsters back in Remnant, but here they saw a couple of monsters and all ran like coward babies, and the cat and the literal defenseless civilian fought the monsters instead, while they all ran like cowards. Well, actually, that was a good thing. Everyone's getting along now because they've all banded together to recover from the atrocities that wrecked this area. It's a good thing Team RWBY was here to run away from doing their jobs. Primarily, this episode is just boring, somewhat travels around and checks out various places we've seen from Volume 9, now seeing what they're like after Team RWBY's visit, ending with a confusingly out-of-character moment with the Red Prince. Like, I guess it can't be that out of character, he's barely been established as a character to begin with, but it does feel kind of weird that the only 2 times we've seen this character, he's been personified completely differently.
Excellent! You are in the presence of royalty! That's me, thank you very much.
I sent them away. How could one expect them to be ruled by someone like me?
This is not how it's supposed to go!
You seem familiar.
But I never want to see them again!
Thank you for playing with me, little one. I've learned a lot.
Oh, look, another big teaser. Oh, who came back to the Ever After? Who used Ambrosius's portals to get here? Who was it? Too bad. Ha ha ha. Give me money to find out in Volume 10. Ha ha ha.
It probably won't even be answered. Let's be real. Like, it's not even gonna be answered. Also, I did not watch Volume 9. The only I only know of, I think, 2 scenes in Volume 9, and that's just because there was no escaping them. And that was RWBY blowing up on everybody, which I'm not gonna admit was beautiful. And also RWBY coming back to life, I guess. I don't even know. I did not watch Volume 9. I have no idea what happened.
Cliffhangers! Like, you understand why these cliffhangers piss me off so much, right? I want to see these parts. I want to know who the Summer Maiden is. I want to know who made it back to the Ever After, how, and why. And it infuriates me that the writers are so incompetent that they won't show the audience the parts that they want to see, and instead will use that to bait the audience to continue to beg, as if the Greenlight Volume 10 hashtag hasn't been consistently trending for over a year now. They know we want to see these things. That's why they're baiting us with them. Because all they want is to manipulate the fans into—
I don't want a Volume 10. I will say this repeatedly. I will beat this horse long after it's dead. I want a reboot. I want someone to take it, restart it, and then take all of the parts that let the show's potential actually like bloom and do something, instead of whatever the fuck Miles and Carrie were gonna do with it.
To begging for the show more, to convince their partners that people really will give them money to see the show. Throw more money at them so we might eventually get to see the things we actually want to see.
Siblings, 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 siblings.
Ah yes, the piece de resistance. RWBY and Yang actually act like sisters for the first time in years. This episode as a whole is fine enough. The dialogue is kind of weirdly clunky, which is surprising given how Eddie's writing is usually much more natural than this. Maybe it's the voice acting, I don't know. The girls jump from topic to topic a lot throughout the episode, including a mini section where RWBY gets to be a super celebrity Jesus figure for a bit. Boy oh boy do I hate this! I cannot express how much I don't want to see RWBY's message being personified as this great big hero of the world thing, but I've talked about that at length already in the epilogue review, so I won't repeat myself here. No, the real point of this episode is just because the writers wanted to try and band-aid the problem that they've written the sisters to never actually interact like sisters. This complaint has been around for quite a while now, specifically how Yang is a very bad sister in relation to RWBY, and I think it's insulting that they actually think they can throw this supplemental band-aid onto this several-year-long problem and act like everything's hunky-dory. So let me lay out all the times Yang has been a terrible person to her own sister. I could be pedantic and include things like Volume 1, when Yang abandoned.
The anime fixed this. The anime fixed this scene. But then again, you know, the anime is infinitely better than the whole of the actual show.
Abandoned RWBY when she.
As is the manga. As is literally anything that is not from Rooster Teeth that is RWBY is infinitely better than the actual show. And I'm sitting there, and it's because, see, and here's the thing, like I said, the show has amazing potential. It has everything it needs to be good. But Miles and Carrie and just really just Rooster Teeth did not know how to do it. Because they are not competent writers.
She was alone and confused because Yang would rather hang out with her non-existent friends. But like I said, that would be pedantic. This doesn't make her a bad sister, it just makes her seem kind of rude at most. No, actually, Yang's been a great sister for the first half of RWBY's runtime. Her whole motivation after Volume 4 was finding her sister. From Volumes 1 through 5, Yang and RWBY's relationship has been fine. This only really started to be a problem around
Volume 6. This. And everybody kind of ignored it because it looked like finally, after years of being dangled in front of everyone's face, it finally looked like they were going to pull the trigger on Bumblebee. And guess what? You fuckers still had to wait 3 to 4 years for it to finally happen.
Volume 6, but especially in Volume 8. And you might notice, this was when they started to set up the Bumblebee stuff more, and in doing so, they made Yang just, like, never interact with RWBY, because she needs to spend all her time with her future cat girlfriend. The only moment after Volume 6 where Yang and RWBY really seem like sisters again, who really care about each other, is that one scene where Yang tries to comfort RWBY after the Hound's death. And don't get me wrong, this scene is fantastic, and that's what sucks, because it highlights how great Yang and RWBY's interactions should be. Volume 6 isn't terrible, but it is noticeable how much more time Yang spends with Blake, but they're setting up their relationship. You only really notice Yang and RWBY's lack of interaction in hindsight, I say. Volume 7 is when it really kinda starts. Yang and Blake start doing everything exclusively with each other. Now, it's not that Yang is being bad to RWBY or anything, but that's just
Okay, so I could defend Yang because for volumes 5 and 6, Yang got a lot of shit from a lot of people. I vehemently defended Yang through that time. However, then Volume 7 happened. I could not at all defend Yang. Which Volume 7 made me angry from the get-go, and then I just fucking Christ. Okay.
It's because they aren't really interacting with each other at all. Building up to Volume 8, where Yang, right off the bat, tells RWBY she's been a bad leader.
We said we'd follow your lead, but
you didn't follow her lead. You instantly ratted to Robin. You instantly. Oh. Oh. Volume 8 is where I finally I think it was Cinder's backstory. That was where I finally went, nope, I'm done. Oh. Oh.
Things haven't exactly worked out.
This division between the sisters is literally the main reason the teams split up this volume. And Yang's accusatory attitude comes across as super hypocritical. She's mad at RWBY because she decided to keep secrets from Ironwood, but then Yang also turned around and kept secrets from Ironwood. Not only did she keep telling Robin all of the information ever a secret from Ironwood, but she also kept that a secret to RWBY and Weiss as well. So what are you being pissy at RWBY for? You've done the same thing she did, if not worse. Then the girls split, and Yang's like, OMG, she's gonna be so mad at me. And Jean's like, but RWBY's your sister, she'll always forgive you. And Yang says,
Yeah. RWBY.
She was thinking about the cat again, more worried about her girlfriend, who isn't even mad at her, than about her sister, who actually was being insulted earlier. And Yang's not alone here. At least we can point out Yang stupidly sacrificed herself to save RWBY. And RWBY's reaction was absolutely nothing. No tears in her eyes. Well, maybe if you pause at the right few frames. Blake can scream and cry and wail, even while still fighting Neo, but RWBY doesn't get to react at all. Why should she care about her sister's death? Volume 9 is really the worst, though. Here comes RWBY, seeing her sister alive. She thought she was probably dead this whole time, and she runs up, and what does her beloved sister say?
Damn it! You weren't supposed to be here.
No hugs, no joy, no relief, no. All she gets is lectured and scolded. Oh, but when the cat glomps her, Yang softly coddles her girlfriend. No, 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 can't say anything stern to the cat. You might startle her. Consistently.
I'd have thrown some shit at the TV. I'm really glad I didn't watch Volume 9. I'm really glad I didn't watch any of this. I'd have thrown some shit at the TV.
Throughout Volume 9, RWBY is in turmoil and Yang is painfully oblivious. Blake and Weiss are that way too, but our focus for this is specifically to talk about Yang and RWBY's relationship, and for being the girl who supposedly raised RWBY.
If you thought we wouldn't come for you, then you must have forgotten who raised me.
You'd think she'd know her well enough to stop making out with her girlfriend for 10 seconds and realize that RWBY is obviously not thrilled to be given her weapon back. You'd think if she raised this girl, she'd notice that RWBY isn't really doing too well. RWBY finally gets her big breakdown moment where she snaps and yells at everyone, and look,
I've seen this scene.
at Yang, glaring at RWBY. She has to protect her poor little baby cat girlfriend from her mean sister. Look at how actually angry Yang looks here, because RWBY dares to call them out for prioritizing making out with each other over getting back to Remnant. Here's RWBY, getting ready to drink suicide tea. Fortunately, Yang has come running in and stands there, a mere 4 feet away from her sister. Will she reach out and grab RWBY? Take the tea away from her? Do literally anything? Nope. Yang and the others stand around doing nothing at all. This is why we say Yang is a crappy sister to RWBY. Not only have they barely interacted for the last 4 volumes, but Yang constantly prioritizes Blake over RWBY. And especially all throughout Volume 9, every time she does interact with RWBY, it seems fueled by anger. So yeah, the criticisms that Yang and RWBY barely feel like sisters anymore are pretty valid. And it's really dumb that they think they can make the girls finally interact a little bit in this one supplemental material episode and act like all the pre-existing problems from the last 4 volumes just don't exist anymore. 4 years of Yang prioritizing Blake over RWBY? Well, but they got boba tea. See? The sister.
Just reboot it. Just reboot it. Just reboot it. Please. Fucking. I hate it. God, I hate it so much. I am. Oh.
Sisters love each other.
I'm actually getting angry at this. Whoa.
Don't remember any of those past volumes. Boba! What's worse is the interaction between Yang and RWBY here is really, really sweet.
Yang,
I understand my part in you feeling like you couldn't talk to anybody about what you were going through.
Yang actually acknowledges how crappy she was in Volume 9, and that's great to see. I don't think any character has ever held themselves accountable of
They have not. There has not been a single character that has ever held themselves accountable for them making shit worse. But it's a supplemental material. It's not in the actual show where it should fucking be.
their own poor behavior like this before. But just like I was saying with the Jean episode, this should be in the real show. Overall, RWBY Beyond is just primarily a waste of time. The comedy is painfully unfunny. It feels super tone deaf compared to the vibes they've previously established for their Vacuo arc of the story. And the best parts of these 4 episodes are moments that shouldn't be kept in supplemental material. The art style is fine, but it is really noticeable how often they reuse art. Like this background section of Vacuo with this banana building. And like, Yang's face looks a little Chadly in some shots in the 4th episode. And Somewhat's color palette is completely different too. But overall, it's pleasant to look at. I don't know, I can kinda guess why they didn't bother advertising this one very much. It's a nothing burger. There's really nothing here. RWBY Beyond only exists to remind people that RWBY exists, because there was nothing airing 1 year after Volume 9 released. Volume 10 wasn't funded yet, so they made RWBY Beyond to bait people into being interested and pleading for it to be made. As far as supplemental stories go, none of this is really what I wanted to see. I liked seeing Yang and RWBY actually being sisters for once, and I like seeing Jean bonding with Oscar and the fallout of his age-related predicament, but these things should really not be kept in only supplemental material. And the other 2 stories are fine, I guess, but these are just not the characters I wanted to get an update on. What's Salem's plans now that she has the staff? We got to see the junior detectives, but why didn't we also get to see Sage and Scarlet with them?
Because nobody cares about those characters. Nobody cares about them.
How did Raven team up with the adults?
One of the things that's just... Because, come on, everybody, like, from Volume 5 on has been like, Raven will come back. She'll do it. But not... It's fucking...
Again, we still haven't seen Maria or Pietro since Volume 8, Episode 5. Freaking half of the actual main characters aren't here at all. In the end, RWBY Beyond is just an attempted last gasp of relevance by a dying company.
Alright, let's tell each other a secret about ourselves. I'm gonna go first. I hate you.
If I could turn back time.
Food, of course. What's your favorite food?
Children.
Oh.
Would you guys be there for me if I was going through something?
No. Nope. Absolutely not.
The fact that I know what that's from, that's Grizzy and Smitty and Cryos. I love it.
I hope you reach out to me so I can ignore you.
I can't wait to go to your funeral knowing that I could have changed that outcome.
I was just asking if you would be there for me.
I remember that fucking video too. Oh my god, yes.
Shout out to my $10 patrons. You're all amazing. Andrew, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Noah Perkins, Sunny Shy, Genital War Thunder, Jake.
Okay, I think that's it for that. So yeah, honestly, watching this made me extremely happy that I just stopped watching RWBY when I did, because honestly, I feel like I'd have just broken so many TVs. Fucking Christ on a stick. Okay, yeah, fuck it. So Judgmental Critter, go give them some love. Original video will be in the description as always. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Also, just give me your thoughts in the comments, I guess, on this one. Like, I know I had to have made, like, at least some of y'all, like, there's no way I didn't, especially with the Bumblebee comments. Dear God. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. I will catch y'all in the next one, which I have no idea what it's gonna be. So, peace!